Hi, I'm Dr. Jerry Shea, founder of Chiropractic. I started my career off on Wall Street and ended up changing to chiropractic and focusing on this method because of my wife. It was back in 2014. I made the trip to California where my parents were living in Orange County. We're thinking about getting engaged at this point. So the first day after we had landed, well, an incident happened.
I didn't think that I would hurt myself. Out of everything, throwing a frisbee, my back just gave out. I'm a graphic designer, so my job is just sitting in front of the computer all day, commuting maybe 2 hours total. So I think my back got a lot worse because of that.
I was thinking, how am I going to get her on the plane? Can't even sit. So finally thought, why don't we just book 3 seats on a plane?
I was bedridden 23 hours a day. Going for a walk was out of the question. Going to the grocery store was out of the question. I just felt completely dependent on somebody to help me do everyday things.
I'm like, there's got to be someone that can help her, right? We went to a primary care physician. I found the best physical therapist rated in New York Magazine, the best back pain hospital for special surgery. We went to everything, and we had postponed getting engaged, obviously, because she was in excruciating pain. She had to move back home with her parents because she couldn't even stand to do dishes, to do basic chores anymore.
I went to pain clinic, I went to acupuncturist, a physical therapist, some weird healing doctor,
a traditional chiropractor,
4 surgeons.
Surgeon after surgeon told us she's too severe to operate on. If we do a microdiscectomy, if she's so unstable that it's just going to re-herniate again, we actually did not think that she would get better, but I still wanted to marry her. And so I talked to my parents about that. They basically told me very bluntly, we're not coming to your wedding. I was so angered and hurt about it, especially because they brought in my uncle. So my uncle was basically essentially a father figure to me. That was really, really hurtful to both of us.
And at the same time, I tried to listen and respect what he was saying, but inside it was very discouraging.
Pretty much in their own words, you don't know what it means to marry a handicap and have to support her for the rest of your life. What are you doing? I ended up proposing, getting engaged anyway. I was like, you either come or you don't. And it was during the engagement that actually the start of the miracle happened. My best friend in college, his oldest brother actually was a chiropractor. At that time, I was actually dealing with a pretty severe case of what I thought was carpal tunnel. Basically, I couldn't do a push-up anymore. If you think about Wall Street hours, studying all night long, my wrist was killing me. And that was my first adjustment ever. I was able to do push-ups. I was able to actually use my wrist again.
Jerry was saying, why don't you go see this Gonstead chiropractor? I first said no because I went to so many doctors already. I was already so tired and I just had lost hope already. And Jerry said, there's nothing to lose at this point.
We went to his office. It was unlike any other examination we've ever had. And nobody explained what he explained. He took his time looking at the whole top to the very bottom. So most people had just looked at her low back.
I had no expectations up until he adjusted me, and I was like, this is definitely different than going to see that other chiropractor in the past.
You know, these are the things that nobody else had caught. And what we realized is a lot of people are not looking for the cause. People are just looking at the symptom. That was probably one of the first moments that Kat actually cried because someone had validated and explained what had happened. And it gave hope that there was a solution. We started treatment, and it was the first time she actually started stabilizing, but she still wasn't better. This is the first experience I had seen within this Gonstead technique that made me realize just how difficult it was. He basically said, there's someone that's better than me and you should go see him. So we, funnily enough, had to fly 3 seats back on a plane back to Southern California. I visited her about 3.5 weeks later, and I'll never forget, she actually picked me up from the airport. For me to see the drastic change within a month time, it was like, I couldn't even believe it. I mean, I was in complete shock.
I was able to fly back home with 1 seat, not 3 seats, on a red eye.
It was when we went back to New York, she didn't have anybody to basically maintain her.
I went to see a few doctors. I feel like their standard for Gonstead chiropractic wasn't as high. Like some of them adjusted me over my clothes and they weren't very specific. I remember I still had to lie down in the back of the car. I had to carry like a special pillow for wherever I sat. You could tell I had a back problem.
What we realized was our lives were just never going to be the same. Surgeons all have told us, probably will never be able to work again. You definitely won't be able to have kids.
This sounds very morbid, but I felt like it was my death sentence, because if I am this way at 23 years old, how am I going to be at 70 years old? The thought of that was super depressing.
If I can't get to a certain level, and if I can't give more people that access to that, then why did I quit my job? So I gotta at least be able to help my wife, and then I gotta at least be able to train other people to be able to do that. I saw a lot of problems within the industry, a lot of things that needed to be reformed. Primary care, surgeon recommendations that just were not up to the standard. Those are kind of the first two things in the method that I developed, was find the right thing through a really comprehensive diagnosis, keep asking why, and then apply the right tool in the right order. I don't want to be any average chiropractor. It just activated something in me. Okay, I need to find out what that secret sauce is, because why, even within this technique, are there such varying levels? But then two, how do I make sure that people have access to a better way, a more scientific way? I went full force.
In order for him to be an excellent chiropractor, he had to be able to fix me, to maintain my spine. So I think he worked harder than a lot of other chiropractors because there was a personal conviction to it. So now he's really confident in helping people with scoliosis and herniated discs. It's a no-brainer for him. We decided to try to get pregnant. The back problem was not an issue. Back pains are never chronic. Now we have two beautiful children. I'm almost 40 and I have a third one on the way, and I'm really thankful for Gonstead Chiropractic. This technique has been able to give me back my life. Do take it for granted a lot because I feel like it's happened so long ago. It's a miracle that we are here.
It wasn't until I got good enough and I found out that secret sauce that both of us saw her go from this for 6 years to like this. And then the rest is history. We never had hope until then.